I loved the Shifty station stages in Splatoon 2. They offered really great level design, they were really creative, but most importantly, most of them were really fun to play. So what I thought I would do in this video is rank them from 1 to 24. There were 24 Shifty station stages in total. Now of course, my opinions will differ to you just because of course we are completely different people. It is pretty much impossible that we will come up with the same 1 to 24 in the same order. So what I want you to do in the comments is list your 1 to 24. So yeah, my opinions are based on my sort of play style. I am a close range sort of shooter sort of like player. I like to use the end zap, I like to use the splatter shots and the variants to those weapons as well. So your opinions might differ if you are a sort of a support player, a backline player, or someone that does use longer range weapons. So I thought this would be a really good video to make, seeing as the Shifty station stages are coming to private battles with the Turf War Splatfest mode when the 5.0 update does come out at the end of July. I don't know if this video will be up before the end of July, so who knows, maybe the Shifty station stages and 5.0 is already out. But yeah, I just thought this would be a really cool video to make. I just want to have the opportunity again to talk about some of my favourite stages in Splatoon 2. So let's just start off with my favourite Shifty station stage. It is the last one, MC Princess Diaries. I absolutely love this stage. I love all of the Octo expansion references in there. I love the NILS statue. I love it just based purely on the fact that it is set on the boss battle site from the Octo expansion DLC. I think Octo expansion DLC players will definitely appreciate this stage a little bit more than people that haven't. But even if you haven't, I still feel like you can appreciate this stage for itself, like in terms of its own right. It was really fun to play. But yeah, seeing all of the Octo expansion references like Pearl and Marina fly above in a helicopter. I loved seeing Marina's hyper bombs, but of course it was really cool to see Pearl jump down on the stage and give you the Princess Cannon to use. I absolutely loved the Killer Whale from Splatoon 1. It was probably one of my most used special weapons in that game. So to see it return for this Shifty station stage, it was just really cool to see. For that fact alone, I think I have to put this stage up above everything else in the game. Now just missing out on first place is the Bunker Games from the Chicken vs Egg Splatfest. This one was definitely my favourite Shifty station stage for the longest time. I absolutely love this stage. I love pretty much how you got 3 glass structures dropping down on the stage, blocking off those areas of the stage so that you can't ink them anymore. It was really fun to get trapped in those 3 glass structures, especially the middle dome one. It was really fun to get trapped inside with enemies in there. It made for really intense battles just because you could have got the opportunity to ink unclaimed turf, or turf that the enemy wouldn't have been able to claim again. So yeah, I just absolutely loved this stage. Really great level design. I loved how you did super jump out of the dome as well. So yeah, I absolutely love this stage, and yeah, it would have been my favourite if MC Princess Diaries didn't come to the game. Next up is Cannon Fire Pearl, which is just really fun to play. It's just really cool to see the cannons from the single player, Octo expansion and Summer Run make its way to a multiplayer stage. It's just really fun just to go into a cannon, aim it, shoot it off, and yeah, it just felt really satisfying getting any splats whatsoever. It can be quite hard to get splats, but if you do, it just felt really satisfying to get a splat with the cannons. And yeah, the cannons made for sort of really interesting gameplay just because you had to try and protect anybody in the cannons on your team, but also it made for pretty much making you a target. I've got gameplay here where I managed to stick someone on the cannon with a suction bomb. That was in the final Splatfest. I was playing with a couple of you guys in this lobby, so yeah, it was really fun, by the way, to go to the opposite side, take over their cannon and to keep them trapped. So yeah, I absolutely loved this stage. It was really fun to play, although teammates could hog the cannons at times. Even outside of that, it was just really fun to play on. In 4th place is Sweet Valley Tentacles from the Squid vs Octopus Splatfest, and I absolutely love this stage. I love how you have to splat the tentacles to open up the gates, to open up more areas of the stage. It is a really great concept in my opinion. It is really great level design. I just love the progressive sort of nature to this stage, where you start off with a small area, and as the match goes on and you splat the tentacles and you open up the gates, you do open up the rest of the stage. It's not like how it is in every single other stage where you have the whole stage to play around in throughout the whole match. This one, you have to open up the whole sort of stage as you do go through the battles. So yeah, I had a lot of fun playing on this stage, and yeah, for me, this is definitely one of the best Shifty Station stages in the game. In 5th place is another favourite of mine, the Maze Dasher from the Heroes vs Villains Splatfest in December to celebrate the release of Smash Ultimate on the Switch. I absolutely loved this stage. It was really fun to play on. It just felt really cool to go on the dashers. I had situations where I did splat people when I was on the dasher, and it just felt really cool, or whilst I was mid-air after going on the dasher, and yeah, it just felt really cool to play. And yeah, I probably had some of my most fun matches on a Shifty Station stage on this stage, so the Maze Dasher has to be right near the top in my opinion. Next up is the Chronicles of Rolonium, and yeah, this one was definitely really fun to play on, especially if you did get splats with the Rolonium. That was really funny whenever that did happen. It was really fun to play on most of the time, but there were some situations where, as a Splattershot user, and when I did go to the middle of the stage, I did get outranged quite a bit just because there wasn't really that much cover there. It's just one long strip in the middle. But apart from that, I had a lot of fun playing on this stage. In 7th place is actually the next Shifty Station stage we did have after the last one, and that is the Furler in the Ashes. And yeah, this was a really fun concept. It was also really fun to play on as well. And yeah, I just liked how Mahi Mahi Resorts, or Mahi Mahi Resorts mechanic, where the water will drop down, revealing more stage for you to ink. I just love how that mechanic returned on this stage. So yeah, I had a lot of fun playing on this stage. So yeah, this is 7th place, but I was debating whether to put it a little bit lower just because I absolutely love 8th place, which is the Splat in Our Zones, where we pretty much got ranked battle game mode in a Splatfest. I always wanted to see a sort of ranked battle sort of game mode sort of Splatfest where we got to play on not just Turf War, but also all of the ranked battle game modes as well. I always wanted to see the ranked battle game modes in Splatfest, and this is our closest thing to that happening. So yeah, I just absolutely love this stage. That unique feature maybe isn't the best, or maybe isn't the most unique, or like maybe doesn't really impact the stage as much as the others I have talked about so far. But in terms of how much fun I did have playing on this stage, then yeah, this one has to be right up there for 8th place. So yeah, you got Splat Zones on this stage where pretty much when you did ink those zones, it just meant that you could ink that area of the stage a little bit quicker. It would fill out that area a little bit quicker. So yeah, I definitely did have fun playing on this stage, and yeah, it is in 8th place. Let me know in the comment section below where you would place this Shifty Station stage. In 9th place is the Splatoon Shifty Station stage, Railway Chilling, where pretty much you had to ride rails to get to the middle of the stage, and yeah, it was really fun riding on those rails, splatting people whilst you were on the rails, and yeah, I just had a lot of fun playing on this stage. It's just a common theme pretty much. The more fun I have on a stage, of course, the higher it will be on the list. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this stage. I guess it can be quite easy to sort of read the flow of this stage, just because all what you need to do is get to the middle of the stage and just watch out for people using the 2 ride rails or maybe 3 ride rails to get to the middle of the stage. So yeah, it was kind of easy to control the flow of this stage, but yeah, I definitely did have a lot of fun. I definitely did enjoy myself when Splatoon was going on whilst playing on the stage. Gusher Towns is 10th place, and yeah, it was really fun to use all of the gushers to get to higher areas or higher platforms. And yeah, again, it was really funny getting splats of the gushers. But the only problem I have with this stage is that if the gushers are live where it does block off you going to the middle of the stage from your spawn area, then there is only one sort of route to get to the middle of the stage. So it was easy for the opposition to control that sort of area and just to splat you. They can pretty much either use the gusher to get to the higher platform looking over your spawn area, or they could just control you going through like the left sort of way. And yeah, that's just my only problem with this stage. I definitely did enjoy myself playing on Gusher Towns. It's just that the problem I did list meant that I did have to place this stage a little bit lower on the list. In 11th place is the very first Shifty Station stage we did play on in the Mayo versus Ketchup Splatfest, and that was Wasteland Cool. And yeah, I definitely did enjoy this stage. It did feature 2 platforms on either side of the stage that would pretty much go from side to side at any point of the stage, so you had to time your jumps really well, otherwise you would just fall down to the bottom. I really did like the stage. It felt really sort of small and closed in. It just meant for really action-packed matches. So yeah, I definitely did have a lot of fun playing on this stage, but I guess it can be quite easy to forget about this stage just because it was the very first one. So yeah, I just definitely have a lot of fun, and had to be in 11th place in my opinion. In 12th place is the next Shifty Station stage we did have in September 2017 for the Flight versus Invisibility Splatfest. It also reappeared in the May 2018 tournament, the TMNT tournament. It did appear in the Wraith or Wrath versus Leo Splatfest. Shout out to everybody who did say I did pronounce Wrath wrong in my Splatfest results video. Must apologise about that. But yeah, Wrath versus Leo, the Secret of Splat, did reappear again. It was a simple stage, but you know what? I did enjoy myself playing on this stage when I did come up against other people that did have similar sort of ranged weapons to myself. This stage is a little bit sort of open, so as a Splattershot NZAP sort of player, I could easily get picked off by a Splatling, a Charger, or a Splatshot Pro, a Jet Squelcher. But whenever I did come up against similar ranged weapons, I did have a lot of fun playing on this stage. It did feature platforms that did rise up on the middle of the stage, and yeah, that was really fun to try and get to the middle and control and look down over that the rest of the stage. That middle platform was definitely a choke point on this stage. And yeah, it was a really fun stage to play on. And yeah, definitely did enjoy myself. So yeah, we are now beyond halfway. And we are getting into stages that I did like. But maybe they did have certain flaws that I thought, you know what, I can't really place these stages higher up than the others I did list previously. So 13th place is the Family vs Friends Splatfest, which was of course Frosty Fest, and that was flooders in the attic. And yeah, it was really cool to see flooders on this stage. It was really cool to see flooders in a multiplayer setting. But this stage is pretty much, once you get to the middle, all what you need to do is control like the right side of the middle to stop people taking over the middle, and then you pretty much are sorted. I guess you could use the flooders to your advantage, but I always found it pretty obvious that someone was up there. You didn't really have much cover whilst you did use the flooders. So yeah, I guess that flaw, that there was pretty much only one way to get to the middle of the stage. I kind of had to place this in 13th place, even though I did really enjoy myself on this stage. I just thought that flaw, I had to place it a little bit lower than some of the other Shifty Station stages. Next up is Grappling Girl. I don't have much footage of this stage for some reason. I didn't record any footage of this stage apart from a couple of 30-second clips which I still got on my Switch from way back in, I do believe, April 2018 is when the Shifty Station stage did appear. And yeah, it was really cool to use the grapplings to get around the stage. But just like the last stage, it was pretty much just hold off one side on the middle and then you pretty much win. I thought it was still a good layout nonetheless. I thought it was a well designed level. And yeah, it was really cool to play on. It's just that the flaw I did list, had to place it in 14th place. In 15th place is the switches, and I was debating for the longest time whether to place this a little bit higher than the other two. But pretty much you had gates blocking off your two spawn areas, and to open up the gates you had to ink a switch that was up on a higher platform. I definitely did enjoy that concept, but in the middle of the stage it was a little bit sort of too open for my liking. But yeah, I definitely did like in the middle as well you had a switch or a couple of switches where you had to ink them and you would raise up a couple of platforms. It was definitely a good concept. It's just that I felt the middle sort of area was a little bit too open. But yeah, even now I'm still debating with myself whether this should be higher than the other two. And you know what, maybe it should be in 13th or 14th place. But because I've already recorded those sections and I can't be bothered to re-record them, basically the switches is where it is. It is the hottest day of the year when I am recording this video. So yeah, I can't be bothered to re-record that section of the video. So yeah, this is where it is. Maybe it should be higher. But you know what, the switches is where it is. Maybe this stage is the one stage where I'm sort of regretting placing it where it is. But definitely is a really clever concept. Fancy Spew first appeared in December 2017. And you know what? It is an okay stage where pretty much you've got a middle rotating platform that will change the ink in the middle of the platform. It is an okay Shifty station. It's just that I felt there were better ones out there. The same can be said for Tenta Switchier, where I don't really have a problem with this stage. I thought it was a really cool concept where you've got an ink switch in the middle of the stage where if you did activate it, it would take out the floor and give you new floor to ink. That was definitely a really fun concept. It's just that I did prefer all of the other Shifty Station stages I did list in this video. In May 2018 we had a Swift Flare tilting balance. It did feature two big platforms on the stage on either side. It also featured a middle platform that would raise up, and I do believe the two sort of big platforms would raise up. Yeah, I don't really have a problem with this stage. It's not a bad Shifty Station stage. It's just that, again, this is a common theme now, like in this part of the video. It's just that I do prefer all of the other Shifty Station stages. I can't really rank this stage higher up than the others I did talk about, especially in the first section. I definitely can't list this in a top 10. It's not a top 10 Shifty Station stage in my opinion. So yeah, I had to place this one where it is in this video. Goose Sponge in 19th place might be a little bit controversial with you guys. I definitely did have a lot of fun playing on this stage. It was a really sort of small, sort of closed in sort of stage, so it should be right up my alley. And yeah, I definitely did have quite hectic matches and really fun matches on this stage. It's just that the one problem I do have with this stage is that the two platforms that do overlook the middle of the stage, I pretty much had people with longer range weapons just camping up there throughout the whole duration of a turf war match. So for that fact alone, I had to put Goose Sponge in 19th place, and just like the other stage, Secret of Splat, it did appear in May 2018 in the Mikey vs Donny Splatfest, as well as in October 2017. So yeah, Goose Sponge, it might be a little bit controversial, it being 19th place. But yeah, in 20th place, you do have the Ink is Spreading, where you do have switches controlling spreaders on the stage. It is a really fun concept. It's just that I did have people just camping up high, looking up over the middle of the stage. That is just my one big problem with the stage. But apart from that, I definitely did have fun playing on this stage. It's just that the problem I did talk about sort of ruined the stage a little bit for me. Now the next 4 stages are stages that I don't particularly like, and the first one in 21st place is the Zone of Glass stage, which did appear in January 2018 originally. It did feature in Action vs Comedy Splatfest, where you had to sort of place ink to reveal parts of the stage. Again, it is a really cool concept. Definitely is a lot different to some of the other sort of multiplayer stages in the game, but I just felt like the stage was a little bit too clustered for my liking. I wasn't a fan of the middle barrier raising and falling down, just wasn't a fan of that. And so like if you didn't want to use that middle sort of platform to go up and over, you had to sort of go round over a platform where you couldn't just swim over. It was a little bit awkward. So yeah, because this stage felt a little bit clustered, I had to place this in 21st place. Again, this is just my opinion. Maybe Zone of Glass could be right up there. It could be in your top 5 or top 3, or it could be your favourite Shifty Station stage. So yeah, again, list your favourite Shifty Station stages from 1 to 24 in the comment section below. I'm sure your list will be completely different to mine. But in 22nd place is the Windmill House on the Pearly, and this did appear in November 2017. I'm not a fan of this stage. Originally, this stage was where you pretty much had 2 areas of the stage where you could only go through. The middle of the stage, it was blocked off by a tall sort of glass sort of barrier, so the only way to get to the other side of the stage is through the sort of turnstile sort of area. I didn't like that aspect at all, just because you didn't know what was on the other side of the stage. You could have people waiting on the other side of the stage and you couldn't do anything about it. Nintendo did change this stage, I do believe, with the Sanrio tournament they did hold in the Japanese area. They pretty much got rid of the glass sort of barrier, so you could just go through the middle of the stage. But having played on that version in the final Splatfest, I just wasn't a fan of it. Even though they did make changes to it, it just felt a little bit too open. Now that the middle was completely sort of open, I'm just not a fan of this stage at all. But again, maybe you guys feel completely different to me. So yeah, in 23rd place is the Bouncy Twins, where pretty much you had bouncers on the stage where you could use them to get to the middle platform. I died so many times going on those bouncers. It did take quite a while to get used to, but my one problem with this stage is that pretty much people will just go on the middle platform and control the whole sort of area, like the whole sort of stage pretty much, and it was really hard to budge them from the middle of the stage because you got to deal with the bouncers, and it was pretty easy to deal with. So like if you were on the middle of the stage, it was quite easy to splat anyone trying to get up to the middle of the stage. I found battles where you were both on the bouncers bouncing away. They were quite awkward to deal with. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of this stage at all. I just don't like it one bit. So yeah, in 24th place is my least favourite stage. That is Zappy Longshocking. It did feature a really unique concept where you were sort of spawning next to each other. The two teams would spawn next to each other and they were separated by a long glass wall. And that sort of area of the stage, it was like a hill sort of area, and that sort of long glass wall, it did go right up to the bottom of the hill. Those areas were leading to the middle of the stage where it did feature ink switches, where if you did activate the two back ones, they did raise up a platform that would take you to the other side of the stage. In the middle one, it would raise up an uninkable sort of wall, and yeah, I just wasn't a fan of the stage one bit. I pretty much had people waiting at the bottom of the hill where the glass wall did end. I had that quite a lot, and yeah, I just don't like this stage at all. I thought Salt Spray Rig was the better way to sort of implement this sort of Splatfest sort of stage. Don't expect me to have Zappy Longshocking when I do my private battles throughout the month of August. More details on that will be coming up soon on the channel. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this video. I definitely did have a lot of fun deciding where I wanted to place all of these Shifty Station stages. So yeah, I basically want you guys to do the same, like what I did say at a couple of other points in the video. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this video. Hopefully I will see you in another video soon.